Hi everybody, Series 2 of Pull Up a Chair and Let's Talk Care. The trailer. The thing to drag you in and make you want to come back for more. So this is a bit where you're going to get a snippet of what's going to happen or what's going to come in Series 2. Well, firstly, we're going to have gossip from the sluice room. Yeah, chat from the sluice room. That's what we're going to call it on some of the episodes. We're going to talk about care homes, domiciliary care, supported living, what it's like really to work in the care industry at this point in time. And we're going to get down to the nitty gritty of working in an industry that is sometimes undervalued and sometimes is given the raw end of the deal. And that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about the shit, the sick, and the damn right complexity of care. And then we're going to talk about different conditions, different diagnoses, different chronic illnesses, different difficulties people have to live with. So such as mental health problems, dementia, neurocognitive disorders, and autism, learning disabilities. And then what it's like to go through the process of diagnosis of some of the conditions that people are diagnosed with, and the trials to even get support within those conditions. Because what I want to talk about in Series 2 is that people believe getting a diagnosis is like this beautiful magic wand, and then there'll be unicorns and fairies that come around and everything will be beautiful because you've got a name for something, a label. But no, the diagnosis is the first step. What happens afterwards sometimes is the tricky part. Just filling in the forms just to get support is like needing a degree. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the next steps. Even getting a diagnosis can be tricky. So I'm going to be speaking to Emily, who we've spoken to before, about her diagnosis and the battle she had to get a diagnosis because of being wrongly diagnosed of having a mental health issue. Because the myth that is within the autistic world is that somebody who is a girl possibly can't be autistic because of the myths. And so we're going to talk to Emily about that, and then we're going to carry on and talk about the difficulties of getting support if you are deemed as being, in a term that we don't particularly like, high functioning within autism. Thinking just because you may be on the higher level of autistic that you don't need support. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what it's like to be a family carer for people with dementia, with other neurocognitive disorders, with physical disabilities, with mental health conditions. We're going to talk about what it's like to be a paid carer. We're going to talk about the politics and the utter disbelief of a government that doesn't take it seriously, of being a carer and telling us that actually being within the care industry, within social care, that is an unskilled job. Yeah, unskilled, yeah. Maybe we should ask them to come and work in the care industry for a week and tell us that actually you work out the loss of weight of somebody and how much nutrition that person needs to gain weight and how much medication that person needs because of their complex needs, or how to deal with somebody whose reaction is causing them to be at risk of harm. Yeah? That's what we're going to talk about. And that's what we're going to talk about. So that's, I'm hoping, has grabbed you in and wants you to come back and let's pull up a chair and let's talk about care. And let's talk about it in reality. And let's not shy away from those difficult subjects. And let's try and promote care. Not just talk about the negatives, but talk about the positives. Talk about getting care right. Talk about people's rights, human rights, rights to make decisions, even if you don't agree with them. So when you are supporting people who have conditions, remember, assume they have capacity. Don't assume they don't, please. So even if you don't like the decision they want to make, if they have capacity, they're allowed to make it. And when we talk about supporting adults, they are adults. Don't treat them like a child. Start looking at social prescribing. Let's look at social prescribing. And what is social prescribing? Why are we giving people tablets all the time and not looking at the alternatives out there? The music therapies, the art therapies, the sports, the gyms. The actual utilising of the actual food banks or the healthy food banks. And looking at that. The parenting classes, but not placing that taboo on a parenting class. Things like that, and that's what we're going to talk about. So if you fancy a listen, if you want to be a guest, send me a message. If you've got a story, send me an email. Maxine@attentiontocare.co.uk. Send us an email. If you want to be a guest, then message me on Facebook at Attention to Care or on Instagram at Attention to Care. Join us. Come along for the ride. You never know. You just might decide to work in care. You just might decide that could be your new career. Because honestly, it's an amazing career if you want to do it. And ultimately, I value it. And as much as I might have some negative stories, 99.9% of the time, my career has been amazing within care. So come on, pull up a chair and let's talk care.